hear you.
Yes, Guruji. We can hear you.
Excuse me. Hare Krishna. Okay, so I believe I'm audible to everyone. Thank you all for joining in. From today onward, we are resuming our Bhagavat live program. We are reading from second canto, chapter number 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shannavadi Pashatai Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, welcome once again. We are on the second canto, chapter number 7. This is one of my most favorite chapters from both first and the second canto. So, let me give you a very brief recap. Go ahead. तुम्हें अगर ठंडा लग रहा है बंद कर लो. Let me give you a brief recap of what's the discussion going on. So, fifth chapter of second canto is where Narad Muni asks several questions to Brahmaji. What is the cause of this creation? Who is the sustainer or maintainer of this creation? How this creation is preserved? What are the constituents of creation? Etc. etc. And Brahmaji, father of Narad Muni, began to answer from the 5th chapter to the 6th chapter, like that. And then finally, at the end of 6th chapter, Brahmaji said, after answering all the 6 questions of Narad Muni, Brahmaji said, Hey Narada, although I have spoken whatever my intelligence would allow me, but I still find myself incompetent to explain or speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I really love this particular section. I believe this is verse number 36 to 38 in the 6th chapter. Brahmaji, he's also called as Adi Deva because he's the first living entity born in this creation, appeared in this creation. He's not born like you and I. He's born directly from the Garbha of Lord Vishnu. He has a transcendental birth. That personality is exhibiting a profound humility, which is a realized humility. Is not, sometimes we verbatim, there's something called as verbatim humility, which means when others says, I'm your servant. So we also go and, without any meaning, we say, I'm your servant. But Brahmaji is not saying like that. Brahmaji doesn't have to prove himself to anyone. He has a son to whom he's speaking. He still remains the great-grandfather of this whole creation. And Brahmaji said, I find myself very incompetent to speak about the Lord because Lord glories are unlimited, inconceivable. I have just shared some realization, some understanding. Very important for all those, all of us as a sadhakas, particularly those who often speak, who gets the opportunity to preach or speak the message of the Lord, and those who, for us who are reading scriptures, we should not be in the mindset that I can capture Krishna in my mind and I can present Krishna entirety, or I can understand Krishna in entirety. When Brahmaji cannot do it, when Krishna says in himself in Bhagavad Gita, it's not possible. Everyone says like that, it's not possible. Narad Muni, best of the sages and rishis, says that it's not possible for a tiny jiva like us to think, I can conquer the Lord or I can understand everything about the Lord. I'm making this point in relation to there are certain controversies which floats around on the subject matter of spiritual, the Supreme Personality of God. I'm not going to name any, but the controversies exist because of the difference of opinion on a particular subject matter. The difference of opinion exists, or difference of opinion proves our incapability to understand the Lord entirety. If we could understand the Lord entirety, then there would be difference of opinion. It is as it is. So when we understand something and then we develop a different opinion, it's just because we have a limited capacity to understand. So if there is a controversy or let's say difference of opinion, sometimes say acharyas have difference of opinion, it's largely, but it's actually a fact. This should exist. It would exist because we all have our own capacity. When Brahmaji is saying, I have my own capacity to understand, like that, Brahmaji spoke, and then Brahmaji, because this whole creation maintenance, everything is done by Purusha avatars. So Brahmaji, concluding the 6th chapter, spoke few things about Purusha avatars. There are 6 kind of avatars. Avatars means incarnation. So, who among you would like to name what are the 6 avatars? Anyone who are online? Now, our class size is becoming smaller, shorter, and more intimate. Sweet family, like that. Fine. So, okay, Mother Poonam, what are the names of 6 avatars? Unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
अरे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा भाई. Wait a second. Yeah, speaker is vacant. Wait. Oh, my volume is weak. Yes, Mother Poonam, go ahead and speak now.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's
Yes.
Purusha Avtaras, Manvantara Avtara, Yuga Avtara.
All right. You lost your time. Time out. Mother Induradhika, where are you? Go ahead.
Yeah. Leela Avataras, Guna Avataras, Shaktiavesh Avataras.
Are you seeing anywhere?
No, Prabhuji, I'm not seeing anywhere.
Oh, okay. मुझे लगा कहीं से देख के पढ़ रहे हो.
नहीं, Purusha Avatara, Leela Avatara, Guna Avatara, Shaktiavesh Avatara, Manvanta Avatara, Yuga Avataras.
Yes, Haribo, 6 avatars, correct. Thank you. So after speaking about Purusha Avatara, Brahma ji gets inspired. अरे बहुत philosophy सुनाया, बहुत boring subject matter था. Creation कैसी हुई? What are the ingredients of creation? All that very difficult discussion. 5th, 6th chapter particularly. Now Brahma ji says, Narada, hear from me about Leela avatars. So 7th chapter is very, very beautiful chapter. It's a prelude. To rest of the Bhagavatam. Here we'll read about almost 35 plus different incarnations, and you'll get to know about all of them in detail in the rest of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that, the discussion begins, and this has almost 53 chapters, plus 39 verses about different incarnations of Vishnu. 40 to 46, again Brahma says it's impossible to comprehend about the Lord, the greatness of the Lord. And then 47, 49 is about Paramatma versus Bhagwan. And then 50 verses 53, where Brahmaji requests Narad Muni, now I have shared what I knew. Now, with your own realization, please go and share this wisdom with everyone. And like that, Narad Muni from here began to travel around, made profound disciples, great disciples like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. You name any character in Srimad Bhagavatam. If he has been delivered, Narad's hand is behind. Narad Muni everywhere. So, because this chapter is so beautiful, the purports are so good, we're not going to complete the chapter today. All right? I am not in any hurry of reading. And all of you are still coming after so many months, after so many distractions, Kartik Mass distractions, Janmashtami Mass distractions, and the office opening and all that. I believe all of you are very serious participants. So serious participants, I believe, would not be in any hurry to finish Bhagavatam. They like to understand and peacefully go. So we'll take at least 2 sessions and let's see how far we go. Let's begin with today. I hope all of you have some verses because I'm not here showing. Let me just take an input. All of you have access to Bhagavatam, or you want us to show you the Bhagavatam verses on screen? Can anyone raise your hand if they want to see Bhagavatam verses? Okay. Krishna Chandra Prabhu and Gaurav Prabhu, Mother Priyanka. Mother Medhavni, you're very good in screen sharing. Would you like to do this service?
I have the book, Prabhu.
No. I mean to say, those who do not have the book, for them screen sharing.
Okay.
You know? So, 1 second, Mother Medhavni, I'll make you a co-host and then you can do it. In the meantime, please, in the meantime, where it is, make co-host. So, you're co-host, you have the right to share screen, all right? And Krishna Chandra Prabhu, if in case you have the copy of Bhagavatam, you can be my reading partner. So my throat will be a little bit relaxed. It's not too good in a shape. Okay. So I'll give you a little bit of overview of each verse about the discussion. I'll not read the verses here. And there are very beautiful purports. We'll focus on the purports also. And Krishna Chandra Prabhu will do the reading of the purports. All right. So the text 1, Canto 2, Chapter 7, text 1. So Brahma Vacha, the Brahmaji is speaking to Narad Muni. So Brahmaji begins to speak about the first demon of the creation. So the first question of the day, who was the first demon in this creation? Quick, who was the first demon? You have to quickly type in.
Hiranyaksha.
Yes, Hiranyaksh. So that is how the story begins. So Brahmaji speaks about, I am the first Devata and the first demon is Hiranyaksh. Younger brother of Hiranyakashipu? If it has to be first demon, has to be elder brother, na? Otherwise how could be the first demon? All right. So the first demon means elder brother, so Hiranyaksh. So that is the discussion comes here. And to kill Hiranyaksh, a very special incarnation had appeared, Varaha Avatar, or boar incarnation. So, okay, I'll make the points while we read the purpose like that. So, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, please go ahead with the translation.
Lord Brahma said,
Can you be a little more louder, please?
yeah, Prabhu. Lord Brahma said, when the unlimitedly powerful Lord assumes the form of a boar as a pastime just to lift the planet Earth, which was drowned in the great ocean of the universe called the Garbhadari, the first demon Hiranyaksha appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusk.
So in every purport, Prabhupada has a particular message to give. And that's what I really love about this particular section, because, every verse is unique, has no connection with the previous verse. So purport are also unique in that way. So 2 things in the purport Prabhupada highlights. First thing is about science, where Prabhupada in the first paragraph talks about, says, you look at this universe, there are so many floating entities. One of the entities on which we decide called the planet Earth. So Prabhupada raises the question, how is this planet Earth floating in the sky? What is maintaining the balance? And Prabhupada says, what is maintaining the balance is the constituents of the planet. Through that, the Earth balances itself and the cosmos. And all that is because of the energy of the Lord. That we'll read in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada says, the constituents of the planet keeps it floating into the sky. Just like, the body when it is dead, it floats itself on the water. So the body is floating by its own constituents. Nobody's getting an idea? So like that is being described. And Prabhupada says, but when we drill it, then we disturb the balance of the planet. So at one point of time, Hiranyaksh, he was the original Adi gold digger. He was the original gold digger who would move around different planets, and he would drill and extract gold. So like that, he was extracting gold from planet Earth. There was a super exploitation going on, because of which over drilling, planet Earth lost her balance, or its balance, either way, because of which planet Earth fell into Garbhodak ocean. And to rescue the planet Earth, then from Brahmaji's nostril came out Varaha Avatar. We'll read about Varaha Avatar in the 3rd canto, and then later on the 7th canto also briefly. So Prabhupada says, so this verse or this incident is a warning for this 21st century junior Hiranyakshas who are drilling planet Earth. You are creating a massive problem because of this drilling. There's a drilling in the ocean, there's a drilling on the land, everywhere the drilling and extracting, you will cause imbalance on the whole planet and the whole life will be destroyed. That's the first part of discussion. Second part of the discussion is about why does Lord incarnates. Prabhupada writes, the Lord incarnates in various forms to fulfill a particular purpose. So Lord appeared as Varahadev. Now why Lord had to appear as Varahadev? Varahadev, the boar incarnation, has a tusk. So on the tusk, Lord lifted planet Earth and brought it and put it back in its orbit like that. So Lord took that form to fulfill the need of the time. Like that, Prabhupada mentions about it. So Prabhupada says, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, the second paragraph after the Jayadev Goswami Dashavatara Stotra, you see that?
Yeah.
Of the second paragraph, last 4-5 lines, you can read it from the purport.
Such is a symptom, or
The third line on that paragraph.
1, 2, 3. The incarnation of the Lord appears under certain extraordinary circumstances, like the above mentioned occasion, and the incarnation performs a task which is not even imaginable by the tiny brain of mankind. The modern creators of the many cheap incarnations may take note of the factual incarnation of God as gigantic boar with a suitable snout to carry the planet Earth.
Hare Krishna. And then Prabhupada talks about how Lord killed Hiranyaksha. Now, text number 2. Here, the next incarnation, first incarnation Varadev, second incarnation is mentioned as Hari. So, there was once, actually an incarnation was known by the name of Hari. So, he was a son of a Prajapati. That is what has been described. We'll read the translation in a quick second. And then, in the purport, Prabhupada writes a very interesting thing. Prabhupada says, nobody can claim themselves to be an incarnation unless an information about them is found in the scripture. So here, in this shloka, Prabhupada writes, we find the information about the Lord. We also find the information about Lord's parents. So Prabhupada says, scriptures speaks about who would be the father and mother, what would be the name of the Lord, what would be the village where Lord would be born. So nobody can claim himself to be incarnation. We have to verify from the scriptures. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers went to Puri along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had fainted in the meantime after taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. Long story short, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was informed that he is not sannyasi. Don't think just he is a mere sannyasi. He is a supreme personality God. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a highly learned person. He said, oh, give me evidence. Where in scriptures? And then they quoted shlokas. They said, no, this is the Bhinna Avatar, we say, right? Hidden incarnation like that. But still, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not willing to accept it. And then finally, he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is what Prabhupada writes in the purport. And Prabhupada gives an example, just like Kalki Avatar. There are so many Kalki Avatars keep taking birth in different parts of India. And now because of the mercy of YouTube, there are a lot of Kalki Avatars which give lectures. How I have appeared in so and so village to destroy the world. And the follower says, now our Kalki Avatar is going to soon get onto the horse, take a sword and go about to kill everyone. So, Jai to all these Kalki Avataras and to their followers. So, Prabhupada says, Kalki Avatar, what is the name of his father, the name of incarnation, in which village, and at what time he will appear, is all mentioned. So, any cheap rascal should not claim himself to be incarnation. And this Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they to appear so frequently. In my lifetime of 4 decades, so many Brahma, Vishnu incarnations have happened. And they keep changing states, decade after decade. They are supposed to have the longest life, but they don't last even a decade. Sometimes they appear in Karnataka, the next time Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, like that. So this is cheap incarnations. Okay, let's go to text number 3. In text number 3, now, Brahmaji talks about another incarnation who taught about Sankhya Yoga. So, who taught about Sankhya Yoga? Kapila Dev. And by that, who delivered his own mother, Devhuti Kardamamani. So, we'll read about Kapila Dev in details, elaborately, in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Chandra Prabhu, please read the translation.
The Lord then appeared as Kapila incarnation, being the son of the Prajapati Brahmana, Kardama and his wife, Devahuti, along with the 9 other women, sisters. He spoke to his mother about self-realization, by which in that very lifetime, she became fully cleansed of the mud of the material modes and thereby achieved liberation, the path of Kapila.
So, third canto, chapter number 25 to 30, will read in details about this particular incarnation. So, here Kapila Dev appeared with a purpose to fulfill. He wanted to teach how we can attain self realization, what is called in this verse as Atma Katim, the destination of the soul. So, Prabhupada in the purport here highlights another interesting point. Prabhupada says, not here, he doesn't say that, but it's in connection of that. Let me make a point first. Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, there's a verse which says there are as many incarnations. Somebody may ask, how many incarnations of the Lord? Brahmaji says there are as many as incarnation, as many waves in the ocean. How many waves in the ocean? Infinite. So many incarnations of the Lord. And then Prabhupada in the purport writes that for every incarnation, for every form of the Lord, there is a dedicated Vaikuntha planet. So Kapila Dev is eternally residing in his Vaikuntha planet in Vaikuntha Loka, like this. Therefore, Lord Kapila also has a separate Vaikuntha planet. The spiritual sky is not void. There are innumerable planets like that. Text number 4. Now, after describing about Kapila Dev, Brahmaji speaks about another incarnation who was born to Atri Muni and Anasuya, right? Who was born to Atri Muni and Anasuya? What is the name of incarnation? Dattatreya. That is what is being mentioned about. Please read the translation text number 4.
The great sage Atri prayed for offspring, and the Lord, being satisfied with him, promised to incarnate as Atri's son, Dattatreya, Datta, the son of Atri. And by the grace of the lotus feet of the Lord, many Yadus, Hahiyas, became so purified that they obtained both material and spiritual blessings.
So we'll read about this story also. All of this incarnation we're going to read. This is just a brief one shloka is mentioned about them. So here in the Prabhupada, there is another interesting point. Now Prabhupada, there is a point. Atri Muni became the father of the Lord. So Prabhupada, there is a point. How can somebody be the father of the Lord? If somebody can be the father of the Lord, then father should be greater than the Lord. No, that's a material calculation. Not like that. There are 5 rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, and Madhurya. So in any way the devotee wants to reciprocate or deal with the Lord, in that way Lord reciprocates. Ye yatha mam prapadanti tam sataiva vajamiyam. I reciprocate, Krishna says, as my devotee surrenders unto me. So Atri Muni wanted to accept Lord, or wanted to have a service to the Lord in the mood of Vasalya. He said, my dear Lord, I would like a son like you. Lord said, there is nobody like me. I am only I. Let me appear as I am. You will not get somebody like me, so let me appear to you as your son. So like that, Lord appeared as a son to Atri Muni. So Krishna says, Aham Bija Pratapita, I am the seed-giving father. But when it comes to reciprocation with the devotees, the Lord reciprocated in this 5 primary rasas. Just like how can Krishna be the charioteer? But Krishna became charioteer for Arjuna. He accepted the position of a charioteer for Arjuna. He became sevak. He was in Dasya Rasa at that point of time, in that way to say it. He was serving Arjuna. So like that, Prabhupada explains about how can Krishna have father, like that. Now, text number 5 talks about the appearance of 4 Kumaras. And very interesting thing is mentioned. So Brahmaji says, then at one point of time, 4 Kumaras appeared. I became the father of 4 Kumaras. And Prabhupada mentions about why did 4 Kumaras had to appear. Reading the purport, it seemed to me as if 4 Kumaras do not appear in every day of Brahma. Let's read the translation, please.
To create different planetary systems, I had to undergo austerities and penance. And the Lord, thus being pleased with me, incarnated into 4 Sanas: Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, and Sanatana. In the previous creation, the spiritual truth was devastated, but the 4 Sanas explained it so nicely that the truth at once became clearly perceived by the sages.
So it is mentioned, if you read the second paragraph, it seemed like Brahmaji had lost the spiritual knowledge. And whenever creation happens, the purpose of creation is to revive our Krishna consciousness. And Brahmaji lost the Vedic knowledge. To revive that Vedic knowledge to Brahmaji, the four Kumaras appear, which means Shakti Aveshavtaras. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, they are the knowledge potency of the Lord. And through that, they revived the Vedic knowledge to Brahmaji. And through that, Brahmaji revived Vedic knowledge in the whole creation like that, by which we get a chance for liberation. Text number 6. Here, 6 and text number 7, now comes the discussion about Nar Narayan Rishi, who are eternally residing in a place called as Badrikashram, Badrinath. That's their place. And they appeared, what was their purpose of appearance? They appeared to teach the path of austerity and penance. Please read the translation, text number 6.
To exhibit his personal way of austerity and penance, he appeared in twin forms as Narayana and Nara in the womb of Nupati, the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauties, the companions of Cupid, went to try to break his vows, but they were unsuccessful, for they saw that many beauties like them were emanating from him, the personality of Godhead.
So in the purport, Prabhupada talks about, in the context of the incarnation of Narayan Rishi, Prabhupada mentions about the importance of austerity and penances. Prabhupada also mentions about the importance, great importance of brahmacharya life and importance of brahmacharya training. So Prabhupada mentions about, the male-female relationship, the reason for why the conditioned living entity continues to live in this creation, in this world, bound by the material nature, the laws of the material nature, is because of his attraction for the opposite gender. Male to female, female to male, this sexual attraction is a cause of, binding to this world. So Prabhupada talks about it. The greatest austerity is to refrain from this attraction like this. And then he says the male form particularly, is meant for austerities. So, I'm not going to read, otherwise if I focus on this purport, it will become a brahmacharya class. So, once it happened last time, so I will not repeat that now. So, we'll read out some things that Prabhupada says. Maybe I can read it out in English only. So, in the middle of the purport, in the first paragraph, 10 to 12 lines below, Prabhupada writes, now, why there needs to be a brahmachari training? Okay, let's focus on this. For example, we have a spiritual order and social order. How Krishna have divided the society for us to make advancement? Krishna gave us Vanashrama, Chaturvarnyam, Mayashashram, Ganakarma, Vivakasha. So 4 spiritual orders, which means Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. And social orders are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Now, we might have heard a lot, read a lot, but we don't understand it is something we need to practice in our life. It is not in the bygone ages. Wherever you are, we need to start practicing it. So, importance of brahmacharya life. And if somebody practices, goes through the training properly, then he can be grahastha and then vanaprastha and sannyasa. It's not that I've lived a brahmacharya life, I can be grahastha for the rest of my life. No. Prabhupada says you have to accept vanaprastha. So, what is brahmacharya life? Brahmacharya life, which is meant as a training for men, for young boys up to the age of 25, is to train them in mind and sense control. Is to train them in cultural engineering, is to train them in respecting every woman except one's own wife as a mother. It's a cultural training on mind and sense control. After 25 years of his age, if a man thinks, now he's a man, if he thinks he cannot or he feels that he needs a woman's association because emotional need, whatever psychological needs, then he's allowed to get married. Now, when he's allowed to get married, when he's gone through a spiritual training for almost 15-20 years. All right. So now if somebody joins Hare Krishna movement at the age of 25, so your brahmachari life begins at the age of 25. And now you do 25 years or 20 years of spiritual training. So 25 to 20 is 45 years. At the age of 50, you have to take vanaprastha. So what is the point of getting married? So directly you go to vanaprastha. Now vanaprastha is meant for grahasthas. When you never got married, then you take direct sannyas. So that is the modern day lifestyle, all right? I'm not telling you to do something, but I'm giving you an indication, what should your life look like? Again, I'm not going to speak much on this, but you got the point here, right? So Prabhupada says, so if a brahmachari thinks he should get married, gets married, at the age of 50, compulsory he should leave home. He should go to Vanaprastha because he has to learn to give up his association of his wife. He has to accept the male's body is meant for austerity. क्या भाई समझे? तपस्या के लिए बनी है पुरुष का शरीर, हाँ? So Prabhupada said compulsory 4 o'clock morning program, no compromise on morning program, like that. So anyways, that's the point was mentioned, and then Prabhupada explained about the Varnashram system, what was the whole thing. And Prabhupada says sex desire is very strong, and somebody is not able to give it up, then he's allowed, you can get married and be happy, like that. All right. So yeah, so Narayana Rishi appeared to teach about the path of austerity and penances. Text number 7. Please read the translation.
Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him. Yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind?
And just a side point, for those of them who are trying to get married and not getting married, so they can understand the higher plan for them. Your age is growing 35, 40, there is no point, you know. You make Narnarayan Rishi as your Ishta Devta and chant Narnarayan Rishi's mantra and be happy in your life, all right? So those who have been attempting but not getting a partner, what to do? There is a higher plan for you then. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, so text number, jokes apart. Text number 7 here. Now, very interesting point is mentioned here. So what happens? Let me give a little history. Our Indradev sometimes becomes insecure. And when he becomes insecure, at any time he finds somebody is becoming very successful in his tapasya. Because somebody who performs tapasya, penances, or certain period of time, then he's awarded with the position of Indra. So one point of time, when he saw Narnarayan, who he thought, Indradev thought was an ordinary human being. And when he thought Narnarayan Rishis have become very, very successful and advanced in their tapasya, brahmacharya principle, so he thought, just like Indradev did with Vishwamitra Muni, बड़ा powerful हो रहा है, भेजता हूँ मैं इनका को भी. You know, so he sent mankind, destroyed the brahmacharya of Vishwamitra Muni. So like this, to destroy the brahmacharya and tapasya of Narayana Rishi, Indradev sent some apsaras. But he thought, these 2 young boys are too powerful. Doesn't look like apsaras will be able to do anything. Let me send Kamadev. Let me send Kamadev personally. So he sent Kamadev personally to distract Narayana Rishi. But when Narayana Rishi was sitting in meditation, they understood the Supreme Personality God, they're nothing but Arjuna and Krishna. They understood what is happening. And at that point of time, from the thighs of Narayana Rishi, particularly Narayan, from the thighs of Narayan appeared an extremely beautiful damsel. The most beautiful woman in this creation, seeing whom the Cupid fainted. He went to make Narayana Rishi faint. Cupid fainted, Kamdevta fainted looking at the beauty of that lady, and all the Apsaras fainted. And that Apsara is known by the name of Uru, means thighs, appeared Urvashi. And this Urvashi had gone to Arjuna. Right? This Urvashi had gone to Arjuna. Let us have some good time. And Arjuna said, my dear mother. She said, what? Like these days, you cannot call ladies as Matajis. You know? I mean, of course, when you become practicing devotees, they understand the importance. But outside public, you call Mataji, there's a lot of chance of violence. You know? So there are high probability of violence may happen. You know? So, anyways, so Urvashi became extremely angry. This is coming in the parampara of Urvashi. When Arjuna said Mataji, she became upset. She said, how dare you call me Mataji? Huh? You insulted me. So Arjuna gave a reason. Arey, I am in the parampara of Pururuva. I'm one of the descendants of Pururuva. And you were one of the wives of Pururuva at one point of time, na? She said, you rascal. You made me your great-grandmother. You know, I curse you. You become a eunuch. Like that. So anyways, jokes apart. The point I'm making is, can you look at the character of a devotee? Narnarayan Rishi manifested Urvashi. Seeing Urvashi, Kamadevta fainted. And that Urvashi went to Arjuna. Arjuna said, my dear mother. So that's Narayan Rishi. The Nara is Arjuna, Narayana is Krishna. So here what is mentioned is, so this is what is the background story we read in the 9th canto. I believe that's where the discussion comes. Nonetheless, so Narayan Rishi were not at all disturbed or agitated by lust. Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajaguna, Samadbhava. So Kam is the elder brother, Krodha is the younger brother, Anuj, younger brother. Wherever there is lust, there is anger. If there is an anger, be assured it is spawn of lust. So there is no lust in Vishnu, so there is no anger. So Vishnu or Narayan did not got offended at all. So here Brahmaji is saying, but that's not the case with Shivji. So one point of time, the demons had become very powerful and they have chased away the Devatas. And Devatas were running all over the creation, what to do. They went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji said, well, only one person can save you, Lord Shiva. Not Lord Shiva, the son born of Lord Shiva can save you. But what to do? Lord Shiva is sitting in meditation. How to break his meditation? You know, Parvati is sitting right next on his thighs. Still, Shiva is not agitated. So now Devatas wanted the son for their own protection. Brahmaji said, from him will be born Kartikeya, who will become the commander-in-chief of your army, and he will destroy all the demons. So then again Indradev sent Kamadevta, his ultimate astra, to destroy your spiritual life. He sent Kamadevta, and Kamadevta, when he went, just like when Badri Vishal, Kamadevta had went, it was a peak winter season, frozen climate, but when Kamadevta went, immediately the whole winter season changed into a spring season. Incredible fragrance of fresh flowers, very pleasing breeze and all that. And similarly, when Kamadevta ji, Cupid, the god of love, when he went where Shiva was, Lord Shiva was meditating, so suddenly the whole environment changed. A pleasant wind began to blow and everything. So he was thinking Kamadevta was new, you know, Shiva ka kuch bharosa nahi hai yaar. Ye kabhi bhi kuch bhi kar sakta hai, gusse wala vyakti hai. So he was hiding behind the tree. In case of Narayan Rishi, he was standing in front. In case of Shiva, he was already afraid. He's a risky fellow. He's the one who destroys the whole creation. So he was hiding behind the tree and he was doing his tantrums. You know, he has 5 kinds of arrows with which he afflicts the lust in the heart of a living entity. So he was shooting that arrows at Lord Shiva, and suddenly Lord Shiva didn't got agitated, but his third eye got agitated. And his third eye opened. And suddenly that third eye fell out of the Cupid. And since then, Cupid Devta lost his body. He does not have a body only. His body burned into ashes and he is moving around in a subtle body. Well, the wife of Kamadevta pleaded to Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati was also there, and Lord Shiva blessed that you will regain the body. You will be born as son of Lord Shri Krishna as Pradyumna. And that's how he regained his body like that. Anyways, so here Brahmaji is saying, Lord Shiva became angry. But Narayan Rishi were not angry. Which once again proves, as Mother Kunti says, Namasya Purusham Tvadyam, what is it? Namasya Purusham Tvadyam, Ishwaram Sarvabhutanam. Namasya Purusham Tvadyam. I offer respectful obeisances, Namasyam Purusham Tvadyam, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishwaram Prakriti Param. You are the Supreme Controller, Prakriti Param. You are beyond the modes of material nature, which means you never come in contact with the modes of material nature. But Lord Shiva is in contact with mode of ignorance, therefore he gets afflicted with anger. But Vishnu is beyond the modes, therefore he never gets afflicted. And Prabhupada in the Prabhupada gives another example of Bhrigu Muni. How many of you know the story of Bhrigu Muni and his experimentation with Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, to find out who is the Supreme Lord? Raise your hand. All right. Those who doesn't know, ask the neighbor. I'll go ahead. Okay, I can't narrate all the stories here. It'll take a lot of time. Okay, so this is about Narayan. Text number 8. Text number 8, Brahmaji recalls about the story of a young boy by the name of Dhruva Maharaj, who we'll read in detail in the 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, who was just 5-year-old, born to the great king. Father name was Uttanapad, who had 2 wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And Suruchi was very beautiful, good looking, was more dear to Uttanapad than Suniti. And Suruchi insulted Dhruva, who was his stepmother. And Dhruva becomes extremely agitated and disturbed, comes back running to Suniti. And he says, my stepmother insulted me. She said, I have no right to sit on the lap of my father because I have no right to sit on the throne. On the throne of the father, the next king would be my son. If you want to sit on the lap of a father or the throne of the father, then you have to take birth from my womb. I want to sit on the throne which is far greater than my great grandfather. That's what Dhruva wanted. Who is great grandfather? Uttanapad Priyavat are the son of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu is the father, not the great grandfather, the grandfather. So Swayambhuva is father, and Swayambhuva is the son of Brahma. I want a kingdom greater than my grandfather. Suniti said, all the best. How do you get it? I cannot help you. No, tell me who can help me. And she said, I have heard if you want anything, there's only one person who can fulfill, that is Vishnu. Where will I find Vishnu? I have heard you can find Vishnu in the forest. If you go and look for him in the forest, you'll find him because that's where the sages go. And Dhruva left. Though there is a place, there is called a Dhruva Tila in Kanpur. Not in Kanpur, next to Kanpur is Bittur, which was a very, very beautiful place. All of us should go once for yatra there. You all will love it. There's a Valmiki ashram. That's the place where Mother Sita lived. And there's a place, still there is a place where Mother Sita went into the earth. Still that whole place is there. The cottage of Mother Sita, where Mother Sita spent her time, the place of Love Kush, everything is there. And near to that place in Bittur only, there is a Dhruva Tila. It's a mountain which is said to be the palace of Uttanapad, or let's say, or for that reason, Suniti, where Dhruva left. So there, the only place on this whole planet where you find the temple of Dhruva. There's a temple of Dhruva in Bittur. Very beautiful place up on the hill. So from there, which is Kanpur, he left and he walked. And where did he walk to? Madhuban, Vrindavan. From there, he walked to Madhuban. That's where he came and practices tapasya. On the way, he met Narad Muni. So all that discussion will come in fourth canto, but that's the whole story. And he met Narad Muni on the way, or Narad Muni met Dhruva, either way you want to say it. And Narad Muni taught him about the path of devotional service, how you can please. And within 6 months of his tapasya, which was extremely intense, extremely severe, the Lord was pleased, and Lord as Prashni Garbha appeared to Dhruva Maharaj. That's the point which mentioned here. So the very important lesson we can learn from Dhruva Maharaj is his determination, unfailing determination to fulfill his desire. Please read the translation of text number 8.
Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Pin Durva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest, and the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Durva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, but both upward and downward.
And in the same fourth canto comes a story of another incarnation, that is Prathu Maharaj, which is being described in 9th verse. So 9th verse, Brahmaji says, once upon a time there was a king by the name of King Vena, who was extremely audacious, exploitative, and he, although born into a good lineage, after becoming the king, he declared himself to be the Lord. And he said, all the Brahmanas, stop worshipping Vishnu, chant my name, I am the Supreme Lord. And Brahma says, you rascal, you claim yourself to be Lord? And Brahmanas cursed and killed Vena. Long story short. And then from his body, everyone was worried because he didn't have any subject. Between didn't have a son, and the bloodline had to continue. So from his body was churned by the mantras, and from his body appeared a son by the name of Prathu Maharaj. Very, very important character, very, very important story. He is one of the Shakti Avesh Avatar. Very beautiful lessons from his story we'll read in the fourth canto. So that's how Prathu Maharaj appeared. That is what has been mentioned. So a very interesting purport. So first of all, very first important lesson, just for this sake of discussion to take it, be very careful of offending great personalities. And that is what Prabhupada focuses. So Prabhupada focuses on 2-3 points in the purport. First is about monarchy. What is monarchy? Monarchy was not autocracy. Monarchy was, there was a king who was a leader, but he was a representative of the council which was led by Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas had the power to dethrone the king, like they did in the case of King Vena. Brahmanas, second thing, were not the paid employees. When you are paid employees, then you become subordinate. But they were not the paid employees. they had the free will to decide because there's no obligation now. Like that, Prabhupada talks about what was monarchy in Vedic culture. Monarchy was not autocracy. You make any decision like that. And in case Mahabharata, you will see Dhritarashtra also had Vidura, Bhishma Pitama, to take guidance. And then Prabhuji read the second last paragraph, the first 4-5 lines of the second last paragraph of this purport. How offending great Vaishnavas, a person can lose everything. Please read.
Long life, obedience, good reputation, righteousness, prospects of being promoted to higher planets, and blessings of great personalities are all vanquished simply by disobedience to a great soul. One should strictly try to follow the footsteps of great souls. Maharaj Vena became a king undoubtedly due to his past deeds of righteousness. But because he willfully neglected the great souls, he was punished by the loss of all the above mentioned acquisitions.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada quotes Vamana Puran, where this whole story has been discussed in detail. Then what happened to Vena is described. Vena took another birth, and his next life, he was born in the families of Malechas, the cow eaters. And from his childhood, he had leprosy. Can you imagine? On the position of the king of the world, fell to the position of a son of a Malecha, eating flesh from the beginning. Would be a, Malecha means they're outcasts. They were not even in the force, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, all illicit activities, all improper activities. And that too, after having such a sinful birth, he has a leprosy. Such is the punishment to the offense to Vaishnavas, great Vaishnavas. And then Prithu Maharaj rescued King Vena, brought him back to Kurukshetra, and through penances he got purified, like that has been mentioned. Text number 10. Then in the 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam comes the discussion of, this is not all, but some of the incarnation which we are discussing. I'm just going how it is mentioned. The 5th canto talks about Rishabdev. Rishabdev came to teach us about Jada Yoga. Jada Yoga means how through mechanical practice of severe austerities and penances, which is called as Yoga Path, you can attain self-realization. Rishabdev is also one of the first Tirthankars of Jainism. Jainism started from him, like that. Rishabdev. So what is Jada Yoga? Jada Yoga means, literally punishing your body. They will not take bath, they will not shave, they will not wear dress, nothing. They'll grow their hairs and then they'll pluck their hairs by that. This is called Jada Yoga. They will not shave and they'll pluck their mustache. नकली मूछे नहीं निकलेंगे, असली मूछे एक एक बाल खींच कर. Like that, they punish themselves, and through that they develop detachment, like that. So Jada Yoga, the description is enough to tell you Bhakti Yoga is how simple. All right. So that's the point. So Prabhupada, this is what Prabhupada talks in the purport. Prabhupada describes Jada Yoga, and then Prabhupada says Bhakti Yoga is very simple. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy, and eat khichdi every day. Nice prasadam. All right. Khichdi prasadam. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
The Lord appeared as the son of Sudevi, the wife of King Nabi, and was known as Rishabhadev. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalence the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied.
For further details on Jada Yoga, please read the purport. If you're inspired, I just give you little glimpses. You'll find more information to cause trouble to your body. All right. Then text number 11 is a discussion about the incarnation by the name of Hayagriva. Please read the translation.
The Lord appeared as Hayagriva, incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the super soul of all demigods. When he breathed, all sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils.
He is the personified sacrifices. So Prabhupada in the purpose says, therefore devotees of the Lord do not engage in performing any sacrifices to please any devatas. Why? Because they're worshipping the personified sacrifice, Lord Vishnu. Right? So when you're worshipping the Father of all, why do you have to please any other intermediate personality. So people perform all kinds of yajna and sacrifice to please devtas. Prabhupada says, without even practicing it, all the devtas are automatically pleased because you're worshipping Lord Vishnu. So no need to offer water to Surya Devta, no need to chant Om Namo Shivaya, whatever people do like that. That's not needed. Just chant Om Ganeshaya Namah, etc. Not needed. Chant Hare Krishna. That is the point here. The devotees of the Lord are superior in that sense. Text number 12. Now Brahmaji says, Lord not only takes birth in human species, but he also takes birth in different species of life. And one such incarnation is fish incarnation, Matsya Avatar. So why did Matsya Avatar appeared? So Matsya Avatar appeared for various reasons. So what had happened, like Madan Sundar was saying, Manvantara Avatar. There are 14 Manus in the day of Brahma, and at the end of Manu's life, there is a pralay. There are different kinds of pralay. One is called Nitya Pralay, which is Janam Mrityu. That is called as Nitya Pralay. There is Pramitika Pralay, Namitika Pralay, like there's different pralay. So one pralay happened at the end of Brahma's day. Another pralay happens within the day of Brahma when Manu dies. There's a change of Manu's period. So then up to planet Earth, everything is flooded with water. So once Brahmaji was looking from Brahmaloka and he saw, oh, Manu died. And he saw the flood waters flooding up to planet Earth. He became so terrified. The Vedas came out of his mouth and fell into the water. He became so terrified, the Vedas, Vedic knowledge came out of his mouth, fell into the water. When it fell into the water, it has to be restored. The Lord took a form of Matsya Avatar. And then also, now again the creation has to start. So the story of the Noah's Ark is a perfect cut copy paste of the story of Satyavrat, King Satyavrat and Matsya Avatar, like that. Where every species was preserved and were taken. They were again brought back after the deluge had stopped. Like that, text number 12 talks about. All right. Okay, text number 13. So that was about Matsya Avatar, and text number 13 talks about Kurma Avatar. And now there is a Kurma Sabji, huh? We're not talking about Kurma Sabji, there is Kurma Avatar. Please read the translation, text number 13.
The primeval Lord then assumed the tortoise incarnation in order to serve as the resting place, pivot, for the Mandara mountain, which was acting as a churning rod. The demigods and demons were churning the ocean of milk with the Mandara mountain in order to extract nectar. The mountain moved back and forth, scratching the back of Lord Tortoise, who, while partially sleeping, was experiencing an itching sensation.
I mean, fantastic. This is, one of the most adventurous and exciting story of this whole Srimad Bhagavatam. You'll find in 9th Canto. I was making a point last night also. Those of you who love action, adventure, mystery, thrill, you'll forget all of that after hearing about this narration. After this, you'll not have any ever desire to watch any Hollywood, Bollywood movie. It's full of adventure, full of adventure. So the whole story begins with, again, Devtas being defeated by Asuras. That's what it begins with. They run to Brahmaji. And they wanted some way that they can revive their army. So they wanted nectar. So they approached Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said, yes, yes. Maybe Brahmaji or Vishnu, somebody said, yes, yes, you can. If you churn, churn ocean. You churn a butter in a butter pot. There's nothing like churning an ocean. This is itself, the whole story begins with an incredible venue. You are churning an ocean. So देवता बोले भैया माखन को churn करना सीखा है, सुना है. Hare Krishna. माखन को churn करना सुना है. How do you churn an ocean? So what to do? So Lord said, oh, correct. Now if you churn an ocean, you need that powerful rod. So Lord himself became a Mandara mountain like that. A huge, powerful mountain. So Lord told him, you go to such and such place, you'll find this huge, big mountain. Bring that mountain. Now, first of all, Lord said, well, for churning an ocean, you cannot do it by yourself. You have to get the help of Asuras also. So Devtas had to go and beg Asuras. come together and will churn an ocean. And what will happen churning an ocean? We'll get nectar. And they signed an agreement on legal paper. 50-50% sharing. And every party was thinking, आने तो दे, देख तेरे को कैसा ठेंगा दिखाता हूँ. Both of them were convinced. Let me get the nectar and see, I'll destroy you. So both of them are convinced. Asuras were thinking, anyways, we are powerful. We can very easily snatch. And Devtas were thinking, Vishnu ne kaha hai. Maybe we'll have his backup. He'll protect us. So like that, it was decided. Both Asuras and Devtas went to the Mandara mountain. With all their might, they lifted. Ab lifted to okay. See, there are two things in heavy weight. One is lift. Second is to carry, which is more difficult to carry. Lift is okay, but to carry the weight for a prolonged time is very difficult. So somehow they managed to lift. Now they were carrying it. At one point of time, they lost the balance. At one point of time, they lost the balance. And when you lose the balance, now you're lifting a mountain. You're not lifting a vegetable bag. That you're lifting a vegetable bag with your hand. When you're lifting a mountain, where the mountain must be? On their heads. They're lifting a mountain like this. And when the mountain lost the balance, where the mountain must have fell? On their heads. So many Devatas Asuras died. Again, there was huge hue and cry. Vishnu appeared, revived them all again. No problem. And he brought it back. He brought it to the ocean. Now they brought it to the ocean. You keep such a big mountain. How do you churn? It's not that you will rotate. It's not like a steering wheel. You will rotate. So then Lord became the churning rod. And what was that? Vasuki. So Lord told Devatas, you hold the mouth of the Vasuki and let the demons hold the tail. They deserve that. असुर से अच्छा क्या समझ रखा है अपन को अपने को पिछवाड़ा दे दिया हमें तो मुंह चाहिए gave us the back portion we want the front portion. Deta says, well, Vishnu is the dictator of this whole planet. Deta says, he's the organizer of this whole event. He says you should hold the tail. No, we don't want tail. I know what Vishnu is the biggest cheater. We'll hold the face, we'll hold the mouth. The Devatas told Vishnu what to do. They said, no problem, that was the whole plan only. You let them come there. You go back to the tail. So Devatas went to the tail. Now you're holding a snake and you're churning you're pressing the snake. Now the moment you step on the snake, what a snake does? Passes a flying kiss? No, he passes a flying hiss. Not hiss. He throws poison. All the Asuras are holding the mouth of Vasuki. And pressing Vasuki. And Vasuki's body is crushing to the mountain. And the moment his body was crushed, he vomited poison. All the Asuras died. Again, Vishnu came, revived them. This goes back, I don't want to go this story. This is unending story. Goes again and again. Now, after that, they were revived and they were thinking, Devatas are cheating, double cheated, huh? They were so smart, they took intentionally the mouth. They knew we'll not follow it. We'll be very careful next time what happens. Then finally, they started churning. Now, such a heavy weight, how can you hold it? If you have a weight, the more density, the more quickly it's going to sink. It began to sink. When it began to sink, whoever was holding the churning rod or the churning, not a churning rod or the rope, they also sank. They're like, what is going on? They again prayed to Vishnu. Everyone is praying to Vishnu. So Vishnu said, all right, let me become the base. And that base is being described here. He became the Kurma. You know how long was Kurma? The size of Kurma Avatar was 800,000 yojanas. Tortoise. That was the size. One yojana is 8 miles, something like that. 8 miles, something like that, is that? So that was the size of Kurma Avatar. And Kurma Avatar was in Samadhi. He was sleeping. So how many of you like massage? Head massage? Raise your hand. So like this, all the Asuras and Suras, while Kurma Avatar was in Samadhi, was getting his back massage. The Mandara mountain was moving on the back of the tortoise, and it was like when you get an itching, you can't really reach it. So the itching of the Kurma Avatar was removed by the Mandara mountain, and that has been described here. So Prabhupada in the Prabhupada says, "Oh, somebody may question. You say there is a milk ocean? How do I believe?" The Prabhupada says faith should be based on scriptures. Because our scientists have not seen the whole universe, they can never see it. If you have not seen it, you better believe who have seen it, period. So scripture says ocean of milk exists, ocean of milk exists. That's like that. Text number 14 talks about Narasimha Avatar. the favorite pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll hear again and again about Prahlad Maharaj. So very, very beautiful puppet. Two things we'll mention. We'll pause here for today. Next time we'll continue. We'll be more quick next time. So what mentions, I mean, this story comes in the 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, again elaborately discussed in 7th canto. So Hiranyakashipu, younger brother Hiranyaksh. Hiranyaksh was the first number demon. Hiranyakashipu was the second born demon in this creation. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, so powerful, so powerful. Today people are so proud of their technology. They say we have a voice recognition Siri, or the Googles, Azure or something like that, right? Assistant, not assistant, right? There is a voice control device with which you can control your house. You still have to Alexa, something, whatever it is, jiska bhi baby ho. So, you say by voice we can control. Look at the technology, patented technology of Hiranyakashipu. With the justest movement of his eyebrows, sun god and moon god holding their dhoti, they will run back from there to Hiranyakashipu's palace. Kya hua Swami? Aapne apni eyebrow kyun uthai? That was a potency Hiranyakashipu. And that Hiranyakashipu, who everyone is aspiring to become today, the most powerful, the controller of all, Prabhu was a very beautiful point. I'll read the last line of the purport. Please repeat after me. Materialistic plans.
Materialistic plans.
जोर से बोलो यार. Materialistic plans of godless demons
Materialistic plans of godless demons
are always frustrated by the all-powerful Lord. So whoever of you has any pride or any faith in the today's advancement, all your plans will ultimately end with frustration. Nothing will happen. All the materialistic plans. The Prabhu says he had such a plan. So Prabhupada has mentioned the purport. Hiranyakashipu was so smart, so intelligent. When he worshipped, performed his tapasya to please Brahmaji, Brahmaji was pleased. Brahmaji appeared. He said, "What boon do you want?" "My dear Brahma, make me immortal." Brahmaji said, "Sorry, request rejected. Your application is rejected." "I am not immortal. How can I make you immortal?" Hiranyakashipu smiled. "No problem. I have a backup plan." He said, "Brahmaji, bless me. No weapon can kill me. No living entity born in the 8.4 million species can kill me. I should not be killed day, not night, not air, my sky, not on the land, not in the water." Like that, he went on. Prabhupada says, he went on asking for blessings. I should not be killed this way, that way. He left no possible option in this creation. In one way, he became immortal. Ravana was not so intelligent. Ravana also pleased. And when he got his boons, he asked for blessing for protection from everyone except for one species. What is? You only that. Manushya Tuch. So that's the reason Lord Ram appeared in human species, human race. So Hiranyakashipu tried his best to defeat the plans of the Lord. But his plans ultimately, that's the reason Prabhupada said, materialistic plans of all godless civilization ends up in frustration. He thought he'll become immortal, but yet Lord appeared as the most special incarnation, half man, half lion, called as Nar Simha Avatar. Like that is mentioned. Why did Lord appear? Because Prahlad said, he is in this pillar. Like that, because Prahlad said, so Lord appeared. That is what is mentioned. And then 15th verse onwards is a story, another very, very beautiful story about Gajendra, who was an elephant in his previous life, was king in the Dumna, who was cursed because of not following Vaishnava etiquettes, and then he became Gajendra. Please read the translation of 15th verse, and then we'll pause for today. We'll read more about this and discuss more about it next time.
The leader of the elephants, whose leg was attacked in a river by a crocodile of superior strength, was much aggrieved. Taking a lotus flower in his trunk, he addressed the Lord, saying, "O original enjoyer, Lord of the universe, O deliverer, as famous as a place of pilgrimage, all are purified simply by hearing your holy name, which is worthy to be chanted."
Very, very, very beautiful pastime. Very beautiful pastime. Let me just give you some thoughts for you to churn, and then we'll discuss it next time. Bear with me. I'm going a little bit more in details. Of course, it's not detail. I'm just giving you a little synopsis to increase your appetite for the upcoming cantos, because all of these will be discussed in the upcoming cantos. Like, as I said in the beginning, it's a prelude. So Gajendra was a very, very powerful elephant. He was the king of the jungle in one sense. And with all his relatives, he walked into or he entered into a lake. Like him, he had powerful relatives. He ventured into a lake like that, and then suddenly the most powerful person, the king of the whole jungle, was met with an unexpected calamity in the most unfavorable environment. Because the water is not a favorable situation for elephant to fight, but it was a favorable environment for crocodile. Crocodile was not as powerful as elephant or Gajendra, but that's what happened. So we'll discuss more about this. Second thing, when Gajendra was caught like this in his legs by the mouth of crocodile, all the relatives got frightened and they came out of the water. The first thing you do is come to your place where you can defend yourself. They came out and none of them had the courage to venture into the water to save Gajendra because they didn't know how many more crocodiles are there. So although his relatives were there and Gajendra was very proud of his relatives, my family members, but none of the family members could save Gajendra. It's a very important lesson. When the time of crisis comes, nobody can save us. Our only shelter is Lord. And that's what Gajendra did. Finally, after fighting for a long, long time, 1,000 years, the battle went. Which means sometimes the problem persists for a long, long time. 1,000 years the problem persisted, and finally he realized nobody can save me. He's about to die. He lifted a lotus and offered to the Vishnu. So only protection of us or of a living entity in this creation is only Lord Vishnu. Nobody, his family members were seeing him dying. 1,000 years, I believe they will still be the 1,000 years, they were still around the bank. Or maybe they might have said, okay, uncle, bye-bye. You do whatever you do, is your karma. But they were still there and they saw Gajendra getting swallowed by the crocodile. When he was about to die, he lifted the lotus and offered to Vishnu, and Vishnu appeared on the spot. And how come Gajendra offered lotus to Vishnu? Because in his previous life he was king Indradumna, who was cursed by a sage because of a minor transgression of a Vaishnava etiquette. But because he was a devotee of the Lord, he remembered all about his past life. And because he had memorized shlokas. So importance of memorizing shlokas. Huh? So at least you know when situation is not in your favor, what shloka to recite. If not, one simple shloka you should all remember. What is that? What is the most simplest shloka? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So anyways, long story short, Gajendra offered the prayer and Lord came to his rescue. We'll discuss more about this next time. And there's some very practical lessons for us. And here, Brahmaji addresses the Lord with different names like Adi Purush, Akhila Lokanatha, Tirth Shavaha, Shavana Mangala, etc. Golden Purple, please mark it for your reading. And we'll read more about it, discuss more about it next time. It's almost 9:10, we should pass here. With that, we'll conclude. As I said in the beginning, I'll take at least 2 sessions for this. A very, very important discussion to just get some glimpses about the stories that we're going to read about in the upcoming cantos. So thank you once again for all joining for today's morning discussion. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki. And I guess some of you are joining it twice because we also had Be a Yogi program in the morning and you have all turned up. So all of you are very, very sincere seekers. So fine. Is there any comment or question from anyone? If anything, we'll take it. By the way, who all are still there with this Bhagavat Life program? I see Mother Subhashri, Mother Sonali is there, Mother Poonam, Ravi is there, Mother Varsha is there, Mother Medhavani, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Mother Priyanka. Who else we have? Who is this K. Praman? Oh, Prabhuji from Bombay. Yes, I remember. We met, you come for my Yatra. Okay. Radha Aradhya Prabhu, Kasturi Deva. Fine. All right, thank you all for joining in. We conclude here for today. Hare Krishna.